It's another Raw video from your favorite YouTube scout, Draft Raw Authentic. Yes, I am finally here making another video, and like I said, it's a Raw one, so there will be no edits now. I know that I've been, maybe you can say, a little bit inconsistent with the videos coming out. There's always situation happens, whether I have to, a little bit of overtime I have to do at work, or a situation where, like today, I'm able to actually do this video because I had to leave work early. I was going to leave work early anyway, but then it happened. Something situation, wife, she's okay. But anywho, I'm here again, finally making this video, and this is the Week 7 Rookie Standouts. So instead of wasting your time, let's just get straight into it. In the first game, Denver versus Arizona on Thursday night, Denver single-handedly had, I have to say, one of the most best rookie standout games ever. And what I mean when I say that is, since I've been doing this, I haven't had so many rookies in one game stand out. But Denver, who I already said, who I felt as though had the best draft of all the teams, had rookies that stood out. And let's just go over them. One, they had Phillip Lindsay, 14 carries, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Then, the other running back, Royce Freeman, 13 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Then Cortland Sutton, even though he had one catch that was 28 yards, it was for a touchdown. And then Bradley Chubb, 3 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. A great game by Denver. They got a lot of turnovers, but these have been kind of the rookie standouts for them, for this season or whatever. And I mean, these guys are balling, so maybe they can make the playoffs. I mean, these rookies are starting to, this is when they start to get their feet wet. When they get their feet wet, this is when they start jumping into the pool and start making plays. So anyway, though, but on the Arizona side of the ball, Christian Kirk, 3 receptions, 57 yards, didn't have a touchdown, but those 57 yards is pretty huge for a player that is a rookie like a Christian Kirk. But Denver, yes, once again, Denver is having a great rookie class. I'll just straight up, their rookie class is the best to me, and they having a great one. So then going to the next game, we have Tennessee versus the Chargers. They played in London. Tennessee didn't have no standouts, but the Chargers, of course, had Derwin James with 8 tackles. Now, I watched that game a bit, and it was kind of weird because I was like, where's Derwin James at? I didn't see him. Like, the times that I was watching him, I didn't see him as much. I didn't even know this guy had 8 tackles, but he did. And like I said, when it comes to defensive players, if you have more than 5 tackles, your name's getting put on the list. If you make a play, sack, forced fumble recovery, your name's going to be on the list. So that's how it's going to be. And even though it's just 8 tackles, it's not really any huge highlighted plays. 8 tackles still shows that he's not sitting there missing a bunch of tackles. He's making the tackles that he's supposed to make. Anywho, and I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit. We got New England versus Chicago. New England had J.C. Jackson, cornerback from Maryland, 1 tackle, 1 interception. And in Chicago, Bilal Nichols with 4 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Then we had Buffalo versus Indianapolis. Teron Johnson and Tremaine Edmonds both had 7 tackles each. And then Darius Leonard, who I would put as a defensive rookie of the year, next to guys like Bradley Chubb and Denzel Ward and so on and so on, and Tremaine Edmonds, he had 17 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, and then Kikamo Toure had 3 tackles, 1 sack, and a fumble recovery. Kikamo has been a surprise to me. I didn't know who he was when he got drafted. It was a huge surprise. Never saw his name pop up on any list to try to look at any type of games that he was in. But he's showing that he can be a pretty good pass rusher because I put his name on this list quite a bit, and he's been getting to the quarterback. Then going to the Texans versus Houston versus Jacksonville. We had Justin Reed with 5 tackles, and then for Jacksonville, Ronnie Harrison with 6 tackles. Nothing too big, but those are the 2 rookie standouts. Then Detroit versus Miami. Detroit had Kerryon Johnson, 19 carries, 158 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, but over 100 yards is good enough for me. Honestly, when it comes to the carries, to me, over 50 yards is my standard. But it gotta also depend on what you do, because if you had 22 carries for 50 yards, I'm not putting you on the list. You know what I mean? So it has to kind of deal with your yards per carry too and stuff like that. But then anyway, on the other side of the ball, Miami had linebacker Jerome Baker, 5 tackles, 1 pass deflection. Like I said, you get 5 tackles, your name getting put on the list. Then we have Minnesota versus the New York Jets. Minnesota, Holton Hill had 2 tackles and 1 interception, and then Jalen Holmes, the pass rusher, had a tackle and a sack. Perry Nickerson again had a good amount of tackles with 6, so that's pretty good for him. Then you have Carolina versus Philly. Carolina didn't have a rookie standout, but Philadelphia had Dallas Goedert, who had 4 receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good for a guy like Dallas. I think that's either his first or second touchdown. I can't remember if he scored a touchdown earlier this year, but if it's his first, let's see if he can build on this. Then we have Cleveland versus Tampa Bay, and you have Baker Mayfield, who's 23 for 34, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Pretty good. Nick Chubb, 18 carries, 80 yards and a touchdown. And then on the other side of the ball, Ronald Jones got into the end zone for the first time. 6 carries, 13 yards, and a touchdown. And MJ Stewart, who's been kind of a name that we've seen with Tampa Bay a lot, he had 5 tackles on the day. So that's a pretty good job from these rookies for both teams, for the Tampa Bay and Cleveland. Then we have New Orleans versus Baltimore. No huge rookie standouts, but Mark Andrews from Baltimore did have his only catch of the game. It was 8 yards, but it was a touchdown, so that's huge for him. Then we go to Dallas and Washington. Washington didn't have a standout, but Dallas did have Michael Gallup, who had 3 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. Now that they traded for Amari Cooper, maybe this could help his numbers a little bit. Maybe it won't. Maybe his numbers will start to deteriorate. But Michael Gallup is a guy that, he is a solid wide receiver, and he can get better and better as time goes on. He needs to find himself in this offense and in the NFL and what he's going to do and what he's going to be. To me, he's probably going to be better at maybe working out of the slot and maybe not as an outside receiver. I know he can be an outside receiver, but maybe the slot may be his best choice. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't get to watch the games with Dallas as much, but it's just a situation where I feel as though he's a better player than what his numbers made that he's going to be putting up, especially when you have a team that really don't have any other options. Besides like an Allen Hurns and stuff, and that's not a huge pass catching option. So Michael Gallup, he needs to either step up his game or maybe a position switch in terms of going into the slot more instead of being on the outside. But they do have Cole Beasley, so that's why maybe you don't get that. But this is something that I just feel as though he could be a better player. So it is what it is. The Los Angeles Rams versus San Fran. Fred Warner, who had 8 tackles, he's been a name that's popped up almost every single week. I think out of these first 7 weeks, I've seen his name 6 times. So he's a guy that's out there making plays, making tackles. Then you have Cincinnati versus KC. Jesse Bates is the only person, rookie from that game, that had a standout game with 12 tackles. But obviously it's a 49-10 win, 45-10? It was something crazy. I forgot. They blew him out the water. So you expect, defensive players to have a good amount of tackles. Then you have the New York Giants and Atlanta Falcons, the last game Monday night. And Saquon Barkley was the only rookie standout. He had 14 carries for 43 yards and a touchdown. He also had 9 receptions for 51 yards. Didn't have a touchdown. But overall, he has about 23 touches for about 94 yards. That's pretty solid, and a touchdown. So, he's doing what I expect him to do in terms of running and catching and getting a lot of yards. That's what he is. He's quick, fast, big type of running back. And those are the numbers that I expect him to pick up. So it is what it is. Anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of Draft Raw Authentic and more videos that will be coming content, I'm trying to get these videos out. There's going to be a video about Derwin James. There's going to be a video about the offensive lineman. So if you want to see those videos, please subscribe. Please share this video so other people can subscribe. Other people can see these videos and they can learn a little bit about football, but just, get a little bit more in tune to another person talking instead of what you hear on TV or some of these big time YouTubers that give you their perspective. Maybe see a different perspective because, I think a little bit different. But anyway, once again, this is Draft Raw Authentic. I thank you for watching. Goodbye.